Welcome, listeners, to a fantastical journey through the whimsical world of Urdess Ascending. In this prologue episode, titled Scales, Stories, and Silly Surprises, we meet Urdess the Great, a dragon with a flair for storytelling and a trove of treasures. But Urdess is no ordinary dragon. His scales sparkle like jewels, and his adventures are as legendary as his hoard of gems and gold. Join us as Urdess and the narrator weave a tale filled with magic, discovery, and playful banter. From learning about his flexible neck frills to the mishap with a glittering diamond, Urdess's journey is full of surprises and laughter. As he narrates his own story, Urdess reveals his wit, wisdom, and a touch of dragon-sized humor. Sit back and let your imagination take flight with Urdess the Great. Prepare to be enchanted by a story where the lines between fantasy and reality blur, and where a dragon's tale can be as sparkling as his scales.
Prologues: The Storyteller and the Dragon. There once was a dragon named Urdess the Great, and he had many shining gems. But his most prized possession was his glittery scales that sparkled like jewels. He jokingly called them his dragon diamonds. "Hey, why are you talking about my scales?" Urdess asked, scratching his chin. "This story is not quite true. I don't joke about my scales like that. How about you tell the story then, since you seem to know me so well?" "Gladly," said Urdess. "I'm the mightiest dragon in the land, with the biggest hoard of treasures you've ever seen. My haul of gems and gold is of legendary proportions," he boasted. "Why, my trove is so vast it's practically a character itself." Urdess grinned big with pride. "To think dragons everywhere see me as so wealthy and powerful. It makes me happier than hatching 100 dragon eggs." "Anyway, that's the real story," Urdess said with a toothy smile. "I'm delighted you shared that," said the narrator warmly. "Now, can we return to our tale?" "Of course," Urdess replied. "Once upon a time, there was a dragon named Urdess the Great. Had very flexible neck frills that he never realized he could unfurl like wings." "What are these floppy things?" Urdess wondered, stretching out the frilled skin around his neck. "Those are your flexible neck frills," explained the narrator. "All dragons have them, though most don't discover they can spread them into sail-like membranes." "Wait, I can use these like wings?" asked Urdess as he experimentally flapped the long frills. "You sure can," said the narrator. "They may look small, but with some practice, you could probably glide short distances." "Wow, thanks for telling me," said Urdess. "All this time I thought they were just decorative wrinkles. Now that I know they're wings, I can't wait to test them out." The narrator smiled and continued. His neck frills were quite dexterous, able to carefully pick up objects. Urdess realized he could gently grasp items and move them around without harm. "That's clever, but why am I using my frills to jibble things?" Urdess asked. "I think I'd just use my claws or mouth." "You raise a fair point," said the narrator. "Shall we just say you discovered your frills were more versatile than you first thought?" "Sure," said Urdess. "Maybe I can fold them into fun shapes to entertain dragon hatchlings." The narrator chuckled and continued. One day while snacking in his lair, Urdess spotted something glittery wedged between two rocks. "Oh, a diamond," gasped Urdess. "Something so lovely should have a name." The narrator smiled patiently. "The shiny gem does have a name. It's called a diamond." "A diamond?" said Urdess. "But I thought you were talking to the gem when you said that." The narrator chuckled. "No, I was just describing the object in our story." Urdess looked puzzled. "But isn't the mighty dragon called Urdess the one you made up for this tale?" "Of course," affirmed the narrator warmly. "Urdess the Great is definitely you. I apologize for any confusion between story subjects and real life." "No problem," said Urdess, flashing his toothy grin. Continuing with the story. The dragon saw the diamond, and he was very excited. "Wow, what a find," said Urdess. He proudly reached out his claws to grasp the gem, but the shiny stone slipped from his grip. In an attempt to show off, Urdess tried to catch the falling diamond in his flexible neck frills. But the gem tumbled right between them and disappeared with a faint clink into a small burrow. "No!" cried Urdess in dismay as he peered over the hole's edge. "Don't worry, it's just fallen a short way down," consoled the narrator kindly. Urdess frowned. "Yes, but I have no arms or tools to reach down with." The narrator nodded sympathetically at the valid point. "You're right, my apologies. As a storyteller, I can surely find a sensible way for you to retrieve it regardless." After thinking a moment, the narrator continued. "Suddenly arms grew on Urdess's sides," said the narrator. "Now that was something unexpected." "Wait, what?" exclaimed the shocked dragon. "I know, it's pretty strange," said the narrator with a chuckle. "But I suppose I should have specified that you had arms earlier." I've never had arms before, not even in dreams, Urdess said as he inspected his new appendages. That is true, agreed the narrator. It seems that adding arms is an easy solution, but now we need to make sense of how they appear out of nowhere. Oh, I have an idea, offered Urdess. A passing dragon gave me a magic potion. The narrator smiled at the dragon. Excellent. Then a helpful dragon gifted you the magical drink that granted you arms, which solved your problem. That was a clever solution, praised the narrator. You have the makings of a great storyteller, too. Urdess beamed at the praise. Thanks. The narrator then continued with a pleased smile. After drinking the magic potion, Urdess had the arms he needed to retrieve the diamond from the hole. With his newfound arms, Urdess carefully climbed down into the hole to retrieve the fallen diamond. The walls were steep and rocky, but he was able to lower himself using his strong claws. About halfway down the narrow tunnel, his eyes caught a glittering glimpse of the gemstone. Aha, there you are, cried the triumphant dragon as he stretched out an arm to grab the diamond where it had landed on a small ledge. Oh no, I'm stuck, exclaimed Urdess, though his voice echoed loudly in the wide tunnel. I can't make my way back up with these shiny new arms after all. The thoughtful narrator rubbed his chin. Surely strong Urdess could easily escape a hole he had climbed down into just moments before. Aha! The dragon must be playing a game of imagination. Quite the pickle you're in, said the narrator. No worries, we'll figure a way to free you from this treacherous pit together. Urdess grinned, pleased the narrator wanted to play pretend too. Maybe a helpful mole lives nearby with ropes and climbing tools for explorers stuck in caves, offered the dragon. Excellent idea, praised the narrator. Through their collaborative tales, before long Urdess the Great had tools for his daring escape. Their stories of mystery and adventure continued. Well done, you're a natural storyteller, Urdess, the narrator congratulated the mighty dragon. I'm impressed by your imaginative ideas. Urdess smiled brightly, and his long frills rippled in a shrug. It's all in good fun, and you make it easy. The narrator bowed and then resumed his storytelling. The next day, Urdess went out hunting and returned with a large boar for dinner. Smells delicious, he commented to himself as he set the boar meat over a fire. Urdess was very hungry, so he decided to have a small snack. While gnawing on a chunk of pork, he noticed something sparkling near his mouth. I didn't think the boar's hide would have shiny spots like that, remarked the curious dragon as he used his paw to brush aside some dirt. Oh my, that's not part of the pig, said the surprised dragon. He brushed aside some more soil, revealing an impressive diamond-studded bracelet. How did this get here? Wondered Urdess, inspecting the sparkling stones. I think you found it buried in the ground while digging for a snack, the narrator suggested helpfully. Urdess considered this. Okay, but how did someone lose a fancy bracelet in the wild? The narrator nodded. Another excellent question, and a very reasonable one, too. Urdess looked pleased and flashed his toothy grin. Well, let's see, mused the narrator. How did such a fine piece of jewelry end up in a field of wild beasts? Urdess pondered that, scratching his chin with his sharp talons. A lost princess or a traveling merchant, maybe. Or even a bandit's loot stash. The narrator's smile broadened. Ah, so many interesting possibilities. Which shall we choose? Urdess looked thoughtful, his tail swishing across the ground. I think I want a princess tail. Excellent choice, said the narrator, pleased. A story about a princess searching for her lost bracelet in the forest could be quite fun. Great. I love hearing stories about royal princesses and their fancy lives, enthused Urdess. I'll happily weave that tale, said the narrator with a warm smile. It'll be a treat for us both. Chapter 1: The Vanished Bracelet. One morning, the princess woke up and realized her favorite diamond bracelet was missing. No, where did it go? The princess called for her servants and guards to begin an immediate search for her missing bracelet. I want every inch of the castle and grounds inspected at once, she ordered. The royal staff hurried off on their mission, overturning vases and peering under rugs throughout the vast palace and gardens outside. But the glittering bracelet could not be found. This is terrible, wailed the princess. That bracelet was a 16th birthday gift from my grandmother. It means the world to me. She began weeping into an embroidered handkerchief. The kindly king placed a hand on his daughter's shoulder. There, my dear. Do not fret. We shall send search parties into the villages and forests. I am certain your bracelet will be found. The princess nodded bravely as royal guards saddled their horses and set off to scour the lands surrounding the palace. All were determined to find the lost treasure. Utterly distraught, the princess begged her father the king to help find her precious bracelet at any cost. Sympathetic to his daughter's tears, the king swiftly acted. Grand Duke William, bellowed the monarch, gather our hardiest soldiers and rangers. They are to scour every inch outside the castle gates until the princess bracelet is found. At once, sire, replied the Grand Duke. He hastily assembled a contingent of the realm's bulliest warriors. Men, your urgent mission is to locate Princess Isabella's stolen bracelet, declared William. Fail, and you answer to the king's wrath. Gulping anxiously, the search troops saddled their horses and thundered out the gates to comb the grasslands. They questioned merchants on the roads and traipsed through fields and forests. But as the sky darkened, there was still no sign of the princess' precious bracelet. As night fell, the weary searchers returned empty-handed. The princess, inconsolable, fled to her chambers. She tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. How could her beloved bracelet have vanished without a trace? Early the next morning, the Grand Duke was summoned to the king's audience chamber. William, commanded the king, I have heard reports that there was no success yesterday. I cannot allow my daughter to remain so grief-stricken. You must resume the search today, and if you fail, your head will join those of the rest of the search party in the royal dining hall's trophy display case. William gulped, then bowed low. Your Highness, we shall redouble our efforts. The bracelet will be found, and the princess's tears dried. Have no fear. That afternoon, the search party was out again, this time riding in every direction around the castle. We'll find it, Your Majesty, vowed William. The Grand Duke personally rode out to inspect a patch of farmland when suddenly his horse shied and bolted. Whoa, cried William, trying to rein in the startled steed. After much flailing, the horse slowed and stopped. Easy, boy. What's gotten into you? Suddenly, William saw the source of his mount's distress. A massive dragon lay curled up asleep in the middle of the road. Dragons, cried William. As if in response, the creature stirred. William froze in terror as the dragon's golden eyes opened, and a huge snout rose toward him. I mean no harm, dragon. I'm just passing through. The dragon stared at William a moment, then yawned, revealing rows of gleaming white teeth. Please, mighty dragon, I must find a bracelet lost by our princess, pleaded the Duke. She is heartbroken without it. The dragon snorted, amused. I beg of you, can you help? Help, repeated the dragon, looking interested. Yes. Please, begged William. Will you use your power and wisdom to help find the missing bracelet? The dragon seemed to consider this a moment, then nodded. Yes, I will help. Oh, thank you, great dragon, cried William, overcome with relief. The dragon lifted its massive form, stretched, and took to the skies, leaving William behind. Where are you going? The dragon glanced back, its wings beating hard against the wind. To search for your lost bracelet, came the reply. The dragon flew off into the distance, leaving a cloud of dust and a befuddled Duke. The dragon soared high above the rolling hills and valleys, searching for the princess's bracelet. Bracelet! Bracelet! Where are you? The dragon mused. After a while, the dragon spotted something glittering on the ground. Aha, there you are, the dragon exclaimed. Wait, how am I supposed to land down there? Wondered the dragon. The dragon was flying high above a large forest, with no clear space to land. Suddenly the dragon had an idea. The dragon flew lower, circling the trees until a large clearing appeared. Yes, perfect. The dragon descended and gently landed on the ground. Now, where is the bracelet? The dragon wondered, looking around. Oh, I remember. It's over there. The dragon walked over to the edge of the clearing, where a pile of leaves lay. The dragon pushed aside the leaves and found a sparkling bracelet. Yes, this is it. The princess's bracelet. The dragon lifted the bracelet in its claws and examined it. This is nice. Perhaps I should keep it, the dragon said, admiring the shining stones. Wait, that's not right. I need to bring the bracelet back. Clutching the glittering bracelet, Urdess soared back toward home, anxious to add it to his trove of treasures. But the weary dragon began nodding off during the long flight. Soon Urdess was fast asleep, dreaming of piles of gold and gems. By the time he awoke, the spires of the castle were nowhere in sight. Oh no, where am I? Wondered Urdess, finding himself back in his familiar lair. Then he spotted the bracelet tucked among his trinkets. Oh, I was supposed to return that. Urdess gulped. I hope the Duke and Princess will understand it was an honest mistake. Still clutching the glittering bracelet, Urdess touched down among the piles of odds and ends within his snug lair. As he placed the new treasure beside a shard of mirrored glass, his friend the storyteller's words echoed in his mind. A true hero always keeps his promises. The path is not always smooth, but perseverance and courage can overcome any obstacle. Urdess smiled, remembering his imaginative adventures with the storyteller. He knew what he must do. I promise to find the lost bracelet and return it, said Urdess with conviction. Even if I must face danger, I will complete this quest. With a roar of determination, the noble dragon soared off once more towards the distant castle, bracelet in claw. His story was far from over. Hey, why are you whisking me back to the castle again? Demanded Urdess. That's not quite how it went. Ah, but a noble dragon keeps his word, said the narrator gently. Surely brave Urdess would stay true to his pledge, despite any struggles? Urdess nodded reluctantly. I definitely want to return the bracelet, but the long flight really was tiring. And I figured the story needed some drama with the storm and attacking knights before the happy ending. The narrator smiled. Excellent points. Your creative ideas do heighten the adventure. Why don't we compromise? With an adjustment here and flourish there, the tale resumed unfolding. Buffeted by winds, wearied Urdess struggled onward, clutching his precious cargo. Lightning flashed menacingly around the determined dragon, but through perseverance and clever maneuvering, the spires of the distant castle slowly grew nearer. Hoo-hoo-ah! Urdess cried, struggling to stay aloft. The powerful gusts tore at his wings, and the heavy bracelet in his claws weighed him down. I'm not giving up! Urdess roared defiantly. Gathering all his strength, the dragon fought against the storm, pushing forward towards his goal. Finally, after a fierce battle, Urdess reached the castle, exhausted and battered but triumphant. I did it, he said, breathing heavily. The dragon looked down at the bracelet in his claws, his prized treasure. He could hardly believe it had all started with a simple promise. But as he approached the castle, he saw a troop of knights preparing to attack. Wait, the dragon cried. I'm here to deliver the bracelet to the princess. The knights stared at the dragon in shock. It's true, said a voice. Orders turned and saw the Grand Duke, William, hurrying towards him. This is the dragon who promised to help find the bracelet, said William, gesturing towards Urdess. The knights lowered their weapons, still looking wary. I will deliver the bracelet personally, said the Grand Duke. Thank you, brave dragon, for your help. You're welcome, replied Urdess, handing over the bracelet. As the Duke walked away, Urdess gazed down at the castle below. Maybe the next time the princess needs something, she can come to me directly, Urdess mused with a grin. Urdess watched happily as the knights brought the recovered bracelet to the grateful princess. I'm so happy, the princess declared, her face wreathed in smiles. You have truly saved the day. All in a day's work, the dragon said, bowing his head modestly. Urdess had proven himself a true hero, and the princess had her bracelet back. All was right with the world. The storyteller was pleased. He'd learned some valuable lessons about keeping his promises and facing obstacles with courage. Urdess felt a surge of pride and joy. What an amazing story! Urdess enthused. I didn't expect it to end so happily. I'm glad you enjoyed it, said the narrator warmly. And remember, you're the one who made it a success. You kept your promise, even though it wasn't easy. Urdess blushed. Thank you. I'm glad I could help the princess. The narrator smiled. You were brave, Urdess. And now your tale is forever part of the princess's legend. Really? Wow. Yes, said the narrator. In fact, it may well inspire future generations of princesses. That's amazing. It's true. And it's all because you decided to make a difference. Urdess smiled, feeling proud. I guess I did. Thanks for telling me this story, narrator. I'm glad we got to share it together. The narrator nodded. As am I, Urdess. As am I. By the way, what do you want to do for Chapter 2? Would you like a sequel? Sure, I'd love that. Then let's begin.
In the next captivating episode of Urdess Ascending, titled From Growls to Gratitude, we rejoin our hero Urdess in a new chapter of adventure and diplomacy. Waking up to a radiant morning, Urdess's day takes an intriguing twist upon finding a letter from a village seeking his aid with a troublesome wolf. Eager to help, Urdess takes flight, his mind alight with ideas on how to foster peace between the villagers and the enigmatic wolf. Arriving in a village beset by fear and uncertainty, Urdess learns of their struggles and the young wolf, Fong, driven by survival to pilfer their food. Urdess, with his characteristic wisdom and compassion, sees a chance to mend fences and create understanding between humans and wolf. However, the sudden appearance of a larger, more menacing wolf pack escalates the stakes, challenging Urdess to prevent impending conflict and find a resolution that benefits all. From Growls to Gratitude is not just a story of adventure, it's a testament to the power of empathy, negotiation, and the creation of unlikely alliances. Join us as Urdess navigates this delicate situation, proving that even the greatest of divides can be bridged with understanding and kindness. And so we conclude our enchanting journey with scales, stories, and silly surprises, where Urdess the Great has not only entertained but also imparted wisdom and laughter. Through his escapades and playful storytelling, Urdess has shown us the magic of embracing uniqueness and the joy found in seeing the world through various lenses. His journey from his lair to the skies above is a reminder that adventure and wonder can be found in the most unexpected places. Thank you for joining us in this magical world of Urdess Ascending. We invite you to stay tuned for more of Urdess's adventures, where each chapter brings new stories filled with enchantment, humor, and lessons in the art of imagination. Until our next tale, may your days be as sparkling as Urdess's scales and your imagination as boundless as his flights.